Thank you for joining Stamp It Up with Kathy Goodman. Today we are going to make a card using the Blossoms and Bloom stamp set from Stampin' Up. This is the card that we'll be making. It's with our new in color Just Jade, and this is the stamp set right here. This is a list of the supplies that you will need to make this card. I will put that right there, so any of you that want to do a screenshot to know the supply list, you can do so. This is your Just Jade card base. It's 4 1/4 by 11, scored at 5 1/2, and then we have a 4 by 5 1/4 for the inside of the card. And then for the card front, we have Daffodil Delight, 4 by 5 1/4, and then Whisper White is 3 7/8 by 5 1/8. We'll get this out of the way and we'll get started. The first thing that we are going to do is open our Just Jade ink, and we are going to ink up our flowers from the Blossoms and Bloom. A lot of times it's easier on the larger stamps if you pick up your ink and apply it to the top of your stamp. And let's do that. Looks like we got pretty good coverage. Yeah, looks like I got it on me too, so lots of fun. Okay, let's put this right here, and we are going to arrange our flowers this way on our card front. Press down firmly, and then just make sure it's a couple places it hangs off the block, because I only used the E block on this one because the other one is kind of big for your hands. Okay, looks like we got really good coverage. While we have this out, let's get our Daffodil Delight, and let's add, we're going to need our Just Jade again in a minute, but we're going to do the flower centers in Daffodil Delight, and there's a little stamp in your set to do the flower centers. Adds a lot of pop of color right in the center. It really brings them to life. Okay, while we have this out, let's go ahead. We've cut our sentiment tag from the Tasteful Labels dies, and we're going to stamp Thinking of You in Daffodil Delight. So we want to make sure that we get this centered as best we can. See how we did. Oh, not too bad. Okay, so we're going to set that aside. Now, on the inside of the card, let's stamp our flowers. That's kind of what we're looking for. So we're going to bring in the inside of our card. This is our Whisper White piece. And I have a little scrap paper that I'm going to put down over here. That way when I stamp my stamp, because not all of it's going to fit on the card. So let's decide. I think I'm going to go with these 3 flowers right here. And we're going to ink those up and stamp it right here. Let's see if I'm in the camera view here. There we go. I think that's a little better. Okay, we're going to stamp it right down here across the bottom. Press firmly. Make sure if your stamp is a little bit off the block that you make sure you get all the edges. Oh, it looks good. Let's take now And let's do our centers for the inside. We're gonna do one right here, one here, and then let's bring in our scrap paper again because this one kind of goes off. There we go. And we got our flowers on the inside. We are done with our ink, so let's close that up so we don't have a mishap. There's that. And the other one. Okay, now let's bring back in our card front, and we are going to glue this onto our card base. I'm gonna try the new Stampin' Up Stampin' Seal tape runner glue. There we go. I gotta get it started again. There. Okay, so now we are going to center it on the Daffodil Delight cardstock. And let's see, just a little bit crooked down here. So let's see if we can fix this. There. Okay, let's try this again. Much better. Okay, now we want to secure it down. While we have this, we want to get our ribbon and tie our bow. Let's get this in the camera view so you can see. I want my bow to be more on the left side, but you can always move it before you adhere it to your card base. Okay, that looks pretty good. Just straighten out our bow a little bit. Okay. Okay, I think I'm pretty happy with that. Let's move it over to the side and bring in our papers, our scissors to kind of whoa, it's not coming off. There we go. There, we got our ribbon trimmed off, and we need to get our dimensionals. Let me grab those. There we go. Those are dimensionals, and we're going to apply dimensionals to the back side of this before we add it on our card base. You want to use them kind of generously because you don't want your card to sag once you get it on your card base when you put it through the mail. Okay, so here's our Just Jade card base. We're going to flip this over and pull the adhesive backing off the back of our Stampin' Dimensionals. Then we will apply this to our card front and add our sentiment, which we've already stamped. Okay, let's see here if we can get this. Looks like we got it lined up pretty good. Our thinking of you is going to go right here. You can use mini dimensionals for that, and that way you can put it on the edges so the ribbon can still flow through the center of it. I'm going to put one in, so here's how I did it. I put one in each, kind of in each of the corners, even though one of those is really not a couple of those are not really corners. There were the okay, so now we're going to add this right here on this part of our card, and that way our ribbon still is able to flow. Let's bring in our sequins. We're going to put one right here, and these have adhesive on the back of them, so they will just want to be careful when you pull them off of the packaging that you don't accidentally leave the glue attached to the package and not on the back of your sequins. Okay, I'm gonna put, so I kind of made a triangle with them. I put one here, here, and here. That's our card front. Now we can add the inside. So let's add our adhesive. And right here. Okay, we've got that. We're going to add that to the inside of our card. Here we go. Lining it up as best we can. And you want to make sure before you put it down that you've got it where you want it. Okay, there, we've got that done. Let's move our dimensionals out of the way. We've got the card that I made before we got together as a sample, and this is the inside, and this is the one that we've just completed, and the inside on that. I got a little bit more of the flowers on that one. I only did 2, and this one almost has 3 full ones, like 2.5. Thank you very much for joining. I hope you have a blessed day. We'll see you soon. Yes.